Fucking dog. How's this work? You fucking stay on my hair. Give me 2 minutes. Fucking thing's fucked. What's that? Right, how'd you fucking do it? What's happening, boys? Yeah, man. Let me wait for more people to get in. We're just talking to otherwise. So I was look like fucking shite, man. Could be asked. Right. Headquarters are looking great. What? Yeah, white wall, yeah. You look like you've been Syria. Fuck off. So the idea was to do like, I don't know, a lot of people were, hang on, let me put this on the fucking Discord. A lot of people were messaging saying like, oh, you're looking younger. Fuck off. Actually, that's not a bad thing, I guess. I'm growing my hair out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So the idea was, a lot of people were messaging, like asking me, you know, various questions about Syria. I'm no fucking expert, but I thought let's just do, is that right? If I press that, is that right? Is that the link? Studio YouTube, I don't know. Is that Mountain Dew? No, it's just water. 17 people, probably, that's about probably as much as we'll get, I'd say. Fuck, that's not right, is it? How'd you get the live link? Sorry about this. 8 minutes in. How'd you get the live link? Oh, there we go. Copy. Oh, that's not gonna be right, is it? Oh, fuck me. That's a dashboard link. I know, mate. I know. Fucking hell. I know, I fucked it up, mate. No thumbnail either. Cool. Fucking hell, this disaster, man. Absolute disaster. During the ordering process. Oh, what can I do? To sort that out. Okay, I can't get rid of this window now. State of my hair, man. Fuck. Fucking hell. Like a little traveller, man. Cancelled. All right, cool. 25 people. That's all right. So yeah. So the idea was like a load of people were asking me like, oh, just various questions about Syria and Rojava and like everything else that was happening when I was out there. Obviously, I kept it very low key. I didn't really tell anyone I was out there. So I thought, how about now? So how about now? If anyone wants to ask anything, ask away, man. I'll try and answer it. I mean, I don't know. Worth a shot. Damn Mac users, I know. Fucking devil's Mac. How do you go about, yeah, there you go, Jenkins. How do you go about entering Rojava? So initially, the KRG, so like the, you know, the Kurdish regional government, the autonomous region in Iraq, initially denied it and were just like, no, you can't go in, which was like, it seemed ridiculous. Put this on silent. But anyway, so they wouldn't let us in. And then like we had like a route to go in, so you can like get smuggled in. But honestly, I wasn't really feeling that. Like I didn't really want to get smuggled in, but we were like, fuck it, it's the only way. And then a very, very good fixer called Sangar in Iraq was just like, this is bullshit. Like, you know, I'm going to sort it out for you. And yeah, then we eventually got the mission. So we went to Smelka crossing, or it's got like 5 names, whatever. Smelka, Peshkabur, Kabul, I think it's all the same crossing. We went to the crossing. We had to wait 5 hours because initially they said, yeah, you can cross. And they're like, nah, that's someone else. Like, we gave you the wrong permission. So we were like, oh, mate, like just waiting for 5 hours in like fucking hot heat and that. And they were nice, but they were like, there's nothing we can do. We had to wait for this guy to wake up. He was in Sweden and we had to like contact him and eventually said, look, here's what I want to do. Here's my work. Can we go? And he's in the end, he just messaged, said, yes, no problem. Off you go. And that was it. We got on a bus across this. It was kind of like a floating bridge thing. And then within about 5 minutes, you know, you're in northeast Syria. So that's how. It really wasn't that hard. Like once you get in, it's great, man. Kurt Vinlander, is there actual democracy in Rojava? I mean, I'd say so, yeah. Like a democracy as far as you can have it in like what is still a war zone. But certainly we went to like many areas where they have like direct democracy in a way. So they'll have like, it's not like an anarchist way, but it kind of, so it's like communalism, you know, this thing. So they'll have a committee for each kind of area. So instead of like some higher court somewhere fucking saying, oh yeah, you do this and that, they'll say, well, no, let's deal with this in the community. So we met these old ladies, they called them the mamas, and like they were dealing with, you know, marital disputes and stuff that were like, some of it was quite big. They dealt with like one murder as well and like tried to stop two families killing each other. So yeah, it was mad. So there's a lot of kind of democracy on a micro scale, I think, in terms of local communities. But then when it gets to like military, obviously things are very different because, you know, it's a war. And people have to follow orders, you know. So, but definitely there is, you know, I'd say in terms of like regime area or like jihadist area, I'd say the democracy in the Kurdish areas, I think are probably like pretty good. You know, like we spoke to so many people who were like, fuck the regime, you know, and obviously don't want to be around jihadists. So yeah, it was interesting. I don't know, it's working kind of. Does the SAIS also, or SDF also use American assault rifles because they got shipments from the coalition, but you still always see the AKs? You see various different rifles, man. You see fucking everything out there. Yeah. Where's your PF t-shirt, mate? I was wearing them, actually. I was fucking wearing them, but I thought it'd be really corny if I sat there and wore it. Like, I think people would just think I'm a dickhead. How would you feel if Assad made a deal with Rojava? I mean, it doesn't really matter how I feel about it. It's not my neighborhood. But I mean, I think the reality of what's happening there is they're going to have to, you know, like America are kind of fucking them off. They're helping, you know, and they're still there, but they have like, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen, you know. Yeah, so I think they're going to have to. But strangely enough, though, like everyone you spoke to in Rojava, like especially in Qamishli and Kobani and places like this, no one really spoke about ISIS. No one was like, fuck ISIS. They were like, you know, fuck ISIS. They've taken all our martyrs and whatever. But they weren't really talking about it. They were like, ISIS is finished. Most people were just like, fuck the regime. We do not want to go back to that. But I think they were aware that unfortunately they're probably going to have to do that, you know. I don't know. Look, every neighbor around them is their enemy. You know, they relied too heavily on the US, I think. I think they were slightly naive. That's from my point of view anyway, thinking that America wouldn't fuck them over, you know, which obviously they would. But yeah. But how would I feel? I mean, it doesn't matter how I feel. I think it would be unfortunate, and I think Assad would gobble them up eventually. But I think it's getting to the point now where if they want to survive, they might have to do that, you know, and I think they realised as well. Certainly, I don't think they want to. Tui, I have family with that surname, but it's spelled differently. S. Tui. What's the largest group of international volunteers? Do you think those volunteers will have an impact when they return to their home countries? To be honest, I don't know. I kind of made a point of not meeting with any volunteers when I was out there because I've done a fair bit of work on them. You know, it's no secret I don't like a lot of them. I think a lot of them are there for the wrong reasons. The ones I do like, you know, for Batman, a guy called Mike, Jack, you know, Jack Holmes, obviously, you know, rest in peace. Dan Nui, like some very good people who are not particularly ideologically driven in the sense that, you know, they're not like apologies or anything like that. They're just like, right, we see this as something very bad and we want to fight. You know, I know a lot of journalists kind of like sneer at them. I thought, fair enough, you know, you want to do something, fine. But a lot of them I don't get along with. Certainly there's a lot of like fucking Stalinists and all them types. Like, fuck them. Like, I hate them lot. But there's a few anarchists I get along with, I talk to out there. But no, I kind of made an effort not to speak to the volunteers just because I thought, like, what's the point? Like, why come they to Syria to then go and speak to some like white guys? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it will have an impact in their home countries. All depends where, man. All depends where they go back to, I think. Fuck, it's gone all wild. Someone said, I'm asking questions. Okay. Google Murray Butchin, cool. Read his books, thanks. Fucking hell, mate. There's nothing here, is there, really? We have to wrap this fucking stream up in about 2 minutes. No one's here. a lot of Marxist Leninists online, when they hear Rojava, start saying they're American and Israeli puppets. I mean, Marxist Leninists, you know, step outside your radical book club, man. Like in real life, people don't really worry who's helping them if they're getting fucking bombs rained on their kids. They just kind of go like, yeah, help us, you know. It's the same way a lot of like non-jihadi people have to live in jihadist areas in Syria because, you know, it's whoever came and helped or whatever. Like, it doesn't mean they agree with it. And I mean, if you see what America have done there, it's certainly better than what the regime did there. And I'm no fucking fan of America particularly, but, well, the state, you know, Americans are fine, but kind of. But you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, if someone's coming down and like kicking off your doors and stuff, what are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, no, America, sorry, it doesn't quite line up with our principles. Can you fuck off? Like, we'll just get bombed to fuck by everybody around us instead. Like, Marxist Leninist, man. There you go. What do you want to say? I've got a dog and it's running around like mad. Come on, sit down. Mad. Right. Have I been to the north border with Turkey? Yeah, it was weird, man. We drove past a bit where you could see the flag, like a huge flag just flying over. And obviously, I spent time in prison in Turkey. So for me, it was weird, man. It was just, I don't know, there was something kind of foreboding about it, you know, and it was just like they're letting everybody know we're there, of course, you know. But all their kind of gun turrets were empty. There was no one in them at the area that we saw. We just drove past and the driver said, like, do you want to get out? Nah, fuck that. Like, I don't want to take a picture. Let's just go. Yeah, it was weird, man. It's tense. It's tense in a weird way. Like, no one's really saying anything. Like, it's there, but it's, you know, it's not like you don't see soldiers, put it that way. You can't see soldiers there or anything like that. In Kobani, first night I was in Kobani, actually, randomly some soldiers shot over the border wall and shot a civilian in Kobani. Like, he was just driving around. He didn't die, but then a couple of weeks later, a kid died. So that happened, but I didn't see it. Dog's going mad. Chill out. Have you been? Sorry if I'll try and answer everything. If people are interested. I laugh when people say the YPG/PKK are imperialists. Like, they're just trying to not get killed, I think, and also, of course, doing their own killing. What did you eat in Syria? Do you know what? I didn't have a really good Kurdish breakfast. Everyone's like, "Oh, we'll get you Kurdish breakfast." It never really happened, but I ate well. What did I eat? Just like lots of bread, you know, like lots of bread, a lot of shawarma, stuff like that. Pierre Bordeaux, how's the edit going? Any idea of release date? Yeah, man, like literally the reason I was late for this is because I was adding subtitles and I fucking lost track of time. It's going, man. It's long, mate. Like, I do all this myself, and it's like, luckily, like Russia Al-Akidi helped me with the translations, and someone else who doesn't want to be named helped me with the translation. So I've got them all, but now I don't speak Arabic. Like, the Raqqa patrol is, you know, it's not Kurdish, it's Arab, with Arabs around Raqqa, and I don't speak Arabic, so I'm like adding them in, like, where I think, and then I've got to send them back to Russia, who will say yes, this, or no, like that's in the wrong place. So it's long, but the edit's basically done. It's just assembling it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I reckon this week, definitely this week, it will be out. Without a doubt, Raqqa Patrol will be out this week. And it's not much, I'll be honest, it's not much. I wasn't in Syria specifically, excuse me, to film for Popular Front. I went with Robert Evans, another journalist, good guy. Like, he raised some money to go. He wanted me to go and help him because he didn't have any, you know, kind of Kurdish militia contacts and whatever. And he was like, do you want to come with me? So he paid for it. So I was working with him as his kind of producer, I guess. Obviously, I was like, look, while I'm here, I need to get some stuff for Popular Front. So yeah, it's cool. Marius Kronstadt, sorry if I said that wrong. Did you meet some of the cadros in Rojava? An internationalist who fought over there told me he met very impressive cadros who worked out every day and read a shit ton of political theory. I did meet cadros. I've met, so for anyone that doesn't know, the cadros are basically like PKK guerrillas from the mountains, or quite high up, and are now in Rojava. You know, I met one guy who was just like, I mean, I wasn't with him. He was just where I was eating. He was just like, didn't really speak to anyone. As soon as you saw him, and I've seen these mountain gorillas in Turkey before when I was filming there, but it was different. You know, they were a heightened state of war then when I was there, so it wasn't like you just bump into them. They're there for a reason, so they were happy to talk. When I saw this lad, he didn't want to talk really, and he kind of was like very holier than thou that he didn't smoke. You know, like our driver was like, "Want a cigarette?" He's like, "No, I don't smoke. I don't smoke." And the driver was like, "Fuck out of here, like smoke a cigarette." And he's like, "No, like I don't smoke." But he seemed a nice guy. I don't know, but like, I don't really try to get near them. You know, to be honest, I'm not particularly interested in what cadros are doing and what kind of deep theory they're trying to give people. I'm very interested in like normal men and women who are fighting on the front line just to protect their areas, which, you know, despite what kind of DC hacks will tell you, a lot of the YPG are just normal men and women who are like, fuck ISIS, fuck all our neighbors, you know, this looks cool, you know, the democracy, rights, boom, let's go. Certainly there are people that are very ideological, like the cadres, like you mentioned, but they're not everywhere. To be honest, we didn't even see that many Apo portraits, which I was glad to not just see that everywhere. Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, they're there, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't as many as I thought there might be. Yeah. Aidan Webster, would you recommend traveling in Rojava? It looks beautiful. Fucking no. Like, unless you're, I mean, it's very nice. It's a beautiful place, but unless you're, why would you go? Like, unless you're a journalist or whatever. Like, I mean, I know there's a lot of like committees and stuff like that go, but it's you know, car bombs are going off very often. I mean, where was it we were the other day? Tabispia, like 2 weeks after we got back, you know, car bomb went off, killed some kids right where we were, and it's just fucking horrible. You know, it's just very sad. I mean, once it's secure, if it's ever secure, I don't know, mate, but I wouldn't advise just traveling there on like a holiday. Do you know what I mean? I always tell Tama, like, for you, fuck, man, I can't even remember what Tell Tama. I went to so many places, man. Tell Tama's in Hasaka, right? Did I go to Tell Tama or did I get that wrong? Tell Abiad, anyway, I can't remember, man. Yeah. Sorry, mate. It was cool. I just remember it being cool. Did you see a lot of foreign military in Rojava? No, man, absolutely none, actually. Like, apparently they're around, but I didn't see any. Normally, I remember when I first went to Iraq in 2015, they were fucking everywhere. And me and this lad that I was with come up with this clever idea. He was showing me Tinder and was like, set a fake female profile, and then you can find all the weird contractors that are like in Iraq, you know. And he did it. He set up some like fake profile with a friend of his. She said, okay, like da da da. And then he starts seeing all these like weird Yanks that are like, you know, big beard, and they're like contractors, and they're like, oh, you know, here in Rojava, like in Iraq and that, like. Yeah. But no, I didn't see any really in Rojava. I'm fucking losing track of this chat here. Is there a lot? No, there's fuck all. There's absolutely fuck all. Oh no, there is. Oh shit. Okay, all right. What do you think about the German Air Force involvement in the campaign? Do you think recce action via manned planes is helpful to the coalition? Yeah, absolutely. If ISIS are around, fucking bomb them, smash them to pieces. Anyone that can help should absolutely smash ISIS to bits, is my opinion. I don't know why they wouldn't be. I don't know why they wouldn't be helpful, you know? Yeah, definitely. And also, I do think like there needs to be an air presence to stop it being bombed from Turkey, Iran, whoever that wants to attack, you know. It'd be an absolute shame that if it just all went to shit, do you know what I mean? Like seeing it and just thinking like, how, if this just goes bad and just gets rolled over, like what a disaster that will be. You know, it's people are living free there, you know, and then despite what you say, oh, Jake's biased, well, fuck, I don't care. If you're free, you're free, and that's good, you know. Like, and I don't mind anyone that's free and is not living under authoritarianism. Good. Now there is arguments that YPG are kind of authoritarianism in certain sectors of life, and I'm sure they are. But you know, this is Syria. This is not Brooklyn. Or like Shoreditch, you know, and in terms of the region where they are, it looks pretty all right, you know. I didn't feel any kind of authoritarianism, you know, laying on my back. Oh, dogs just like, oh, mate, best Adidas, just bit them up. Nice one, mate. Please don't do that. Oh. Show us the dog, mate. He's great. Murphy, his name. Look, he's like 8 weeks, man. Puppy, Whippet. He's called Murphy. He's a good lad. Are you Marxist yourself? Fucking no, absolutely. I'm not a Marxist. I don't like Marxist theory, to be honest. You know, I'm not particularly don't like hate Marx. I think Marx. In fact, some of my favorite Marxists are like the situationalists. But no, I'm not a Marxist. I don't think it. I think it's a kind of concept that works when you're talking in radical book clubs. I don't think it particularly works for the working class. And I know it hasn't been tried yet, or whatever. But no, I'm not a Marxist. No. Is there anything left of the historical buildings? I know it's not really a specialty, but I know there used to be a load of UNESCO sites. Yeah, there is some. I didn't see them. They were talking about it. Yeah, there's some places. What is becoming like a new... I shouldn't have the dog on the table. Go on there, mate. what is becoming like a new thing, I guess it's a new historical building, is, for example, in Kobani, there's a bit where you go there and you go around a corner and everything's fucked. It looks like Raqqa, you know, and it's like still smashed to pieces. And I think the reason is, what do they say? Oh, they left it there to remember. So like, this is kind of, it's kind of a museum, if you like, you know, so they've left it there to remember like what they fought and died for, you know. And yeah, it's kind of weird. You see it and it's like, wow, like, fuck, that's weird. I don't really agree with it entirely. Like, I think it's like it wasn't like cordoned off or anything. And like I saw like 3 kids running around just playing on like rubble, you know, which, you know, there's no bombs left any there, but if you could be, you know, fall to pieces there easily. But that in a way will become a historical site, I guess, you know, provided the rest of the company doesn't get absolutely, you know, shagged. But we'll see. And do you think? What? Where am I? Were you pursuing a specific story, or just go and see what would happen and see what comes up? What preparation did you do ahead of time? Well, like I said, I was going with another journalist who paid for my flights. I can't, fucking broke, couldn't afford. You know, for so long I've been trying to get there and, you know, in and out, and it's just too expensive. The flights were expensive. Fixers, you know, field producer you work with is expensive. Now I've made some good contacts there. I could probably go back any time. I think I wouldn't have to worry too much about the money, but still, you know, my first time. It was my first time, by the way. Someone else said when she go back, I haven't been to Syria before. I think everyone thinks I have. I was in Southeast Turkey, which is, you know, they were trying to. Oh, dog's gonna piss. No, it's not. They were trying to install, I guess, like their version of Rojava there, but it you know, ended in complete catastrophe. But what was I saying? Yeah, so I went with this other journalist, and he's Robert Evans, good guy, man. Check him out on Twitter @IWriteOK, and he's doing a whole podcast series which will come out about kind of, I guess, the female movement and how real it is in Rojava. So the YPJ and, you know, the implementation of women into society, and which was, you know, very interesting, very real, absolutely fucking real, like, and really, really nice to see it in like how normal it was. You know, it wasn't like, check out our women. You know, you'd ask people like, oh, how do you feel about integrating with the women into their, like, what, like, it's normal, like, what would, like, what's the question, you know what I mean? Which was great. For example, we just randomly went to an Asaish base at one point, weren't even expected, walked into the coffee room, and there's like girls with hijabs, girls without hijabs, boys, you know, there was a Syriac guy, there's a Muslim, there's a, you know, YPG guy, like everyone just together. They were like teenagers, like having a laugh, like chatting, sharing their tattoos, and they were showing tattoos and stuff. So, you know, that was nice to see. And when we asked them, like, how do you feel about, you know, fighting alongside women? The lads were just like, it's normal now, you know. And I think that's good. Like, the next generation will see that it happened there. That for me is the only thing that I think will last forever there, you know, that legend of there will this happen. I think that's excellent. So anyway, so I went there and helped him with a lot of that. But I was like, right, there's things I want to do with Popular Front. And the thing I really wanted to do was a patrol around Raqqa. Like, I knew it wouldn't take too long. And I knew that, like, it wouldn't take too much time from Robert's work, and he wanted to go to Raqqa as well. So I bought my own camera, which is an XA10, which is fucking shit in a way, but like, it's a good shit camera. It's kind of weird. I used to have a A7S Mark II, which was sick, but I sold it about 2 years ago when I was broke. But I'm going to get another one at some point. If I, you know, at some point. And I just, you know, preparations wise, I spoke to a lot of people, a lot of contacts, and I made sure to tell very few people I was out there. Like, you'll see that I kind of said, oh, I was going away. And a lot of people were mad at me, like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, mate, you know, I got in trouble in the region, you know, in Turkey, and I'm paranoid, and I just thought, as few people know, the better. You know, I deleted a load of stuff off my phone, and just in case, dogs eating the broom. Ugh. And no. Just wanted to be safe. I don't have paranoid. You know, mate said to me once, paranoia can save your life. You know, I thought, yeah, maybe. Workers of all lands unite. Yeah, that's I definitely agree with that. That's a very good statement. Joey Skylink, top lad. Regarding the ongoing offensive in Idlib / North Hama, do you think Assad and friends are going to actually push forward into Idlib city? To be honest, I don't know enough about that. All I know is that the situation looks fucking horrible. You know, like, was it like 1 million or over 1 million civilians living there? they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like you've got like Al Qaeda, Al Nusra, whatever you want to call them, HTS, whatever they are now. Whichever like merger or you know, what is it? Lister said the politically mature kind of jihadist group are there now. A lot of the civilians obviously don't want to fucking live under them, and living under this kind of brutal Sharia and getting bombed to fuck by the regime. It's just awful, it's a horrible situation. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen there. I don't think that he can. Like, I don't think Assad can really push into the city in a minute. It depends what Russia decides. I think, so. Not a question, but thanks for y'all's work. It's fucking spectacular. Thank you very much, mate. It's a lot of hard work, man. But everybody seems to like it, man. It's a good, man. Do you know what? Before Popular Front, I was going to quit journalism. I was like, fuck this. And I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I started Popular Front. Max Curtis, sup, Jake? Hello, mate. Should I read all of these or skip? Like, what shall I do? Should I just read am I doing everyone's head in? I think I'm like really far behind. What shall I do? Shall I, I don't know what to do. How's the boxing training going? It's all right, but I broke my hand. I fell over and hurt my hand. So I was meant to go and get it fixed proper, but I went to Syria. Just pick a few random ones. Yeah, that's right, Matthias. Yeah, definitely. Who's that, Mita? Yeah. The most important question is, when do we get Jake playing squad live on the stream? Everest. It's Caliber with his old name. Mate, I tried that Twitch thing for a while. I thought it'd be a laugh, but just fucking too much work to do, to be honest, at the minute. What were the religions encountered, if it ever came up at all? Yeah, it did. Everyone, man. Everyone. Syriacs, Christian, Christians, Muslims, like non-practicing Muslims. Like, I remember this one place we stayed. The chef was Muslim, and I think Robert, the guy I was working with, was drinking beer, and he was like, "Can I?" I was kind of just asking if it's okay, because one like, fucking make anybody, I don't want to offend anyone out there in Syria, you know what I'm saying? And he said, what did he say? He said, like, can I drink beer? And the chef said, I'm Muslim, not ISIS, which was hilarious, like, he's just like, of course, drinking the beer, like, a lot of the YPG were like, I'm Muslim, you know what I mean? They were like, what's this idea? We're all atheists, like, I'm a Muslim, like, they just maybe they don't practice, or they're not particularly, I don't know, devout the same way most Christians in England are. I think there's the weird perception of like YPG are either like godless communists or something else. Like, it's kind of, they're Muslims, a lot of them Muslims, a lot of them Christians. No one really gives a fuck, man. Like the Arab Ashaish, we would said this great bit of like, we don't care who you are. If you're with us, you want to fight the terrorists and you want democracy, come with us. Which was, I thought was good. Fucking hot in here, man. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? There's a puppy, by the way. I didn't buy like a small dog, like Paris Hilton or something. Just a puppy. Also related to the previous questions, how do you like get used to normal life again? Is it weird to be back in UK after seeing a literal war zone? Yeah, and to be honest, Syria is the first time I've been that far away in such a different place for a while. And it is weird, man. It's like, sit in your bed. Sit in your bed. Murphy, sit in your bed, please. Sit in your bed. Come on, mate. It's weird, man. It's just like, you come back and you like, I always sit and just hit my house and just, do you know what? Sorry to ramble. The best thing is I get back to Britain and like, this country is fucked right now. But I always think, fuck, I love this country. Like, I really love, not in like some weird fucking nationalist, fascist kind of way of like, ooh, Queen, not all that shit. But like, just, it's fucking great. You know what I mean? It's all right. Like, it is nice to live somewhere that's like, like, it's just okay. It's not like you're not going to get bombed to fuck. Like, there's not a threat of a car bomb at every town, So when I first get home, I'm like, fucking love this country, brilliant. But no, I don't want to go away again. And then like after a few days, I'm like, mate, I really miss Rojava, man. Like, the people I worked with as well, like Habat and Alan, the driver, just like, oh man, had such a good time. We had such a good time out there, man. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's weird to get used to it. Yeah, it is. I don't know how to answer the question, to be honest. takes a while. Like I don't unpack phrases. I always notice I leave my shit there, like as if I'm gonna go again. I don't know why. I should probably just unpack. But it's all done now. Amir Andy, I guess what I meant to say is, do you think there was a real need for manned reconnaissance in the case with GAF's Tornado, German armed forces, Tornado planes, when you have another coalition member flying drones? I mean, to be honest, the way the coalition communicates is probably not the best. I cut my hair, and I don't think fuck it. And I don't think that it really has any harm to have more, coalition manned planes there. I mean, regime aren't going to shoot them down. Turkey's not going to shoot them down, you hope. So I can't really see that's a big issue, And what else are the German armed forces doing at the minute? It's probably good for them to get the training in. If I've missed anyone's questions, just ask again, because I'm going to do what Matthias said and just pick random ones. Are there any organisations doing demining and removal of UXO in Rojava? Yeah, man, loads. They've got a big UXO, their own. It's not even like packs or whatever. It's like their own one. A friend of mine, Luke, he was Luke Pierce, good cameraman, check him out. He was filming in Raqqa like 2 weeks before I was there, I think, or 3 weeks, and he filmed like a load of UXO guys who were also pulling out bodies. I think he said they found like 13 bodies under the rubble in Raqqa in like a couple of hours or some shit. So yeah, the UXO guys are there. Yeah. Who else should I pick? I don't know. How did you right, answer that? No. What makes you go to such places? Like, what is your mindset when you decide to go? When you're on the plane there, like, are you hyped? Are you nervous? Afraid? Just calm? I mean, it's not really related to Syria specifically, but I'll answer it. Like, I'm calm now. Like, I've done it so many times. When I was younger, I was like really excited and stuff. This one, I was paranoid. I was like shitting myself. I was like, oh my god, something's gonna go wrong. Like, just because it's the first time I've been back to kind of the region properly. I went to like Israel, Palestine. I filmed in Iraq and whatever. But I don't know. It just felt like the first time I've been properly back to the region. So I was kind of paranoid this time, but I was fine once I got there. Sleaford Mods t-shirt. Yeah, man, I made this because I bought a legit one and it was fucking shit quality. And I messaged the guy, Jason from Sleaford Mods, and I was like, "Yeah, quality is shit." And he was like, "Is it?" Oh, I was like, "Fuck that, then, all right." So I just made my own one. I pay for one. I make my own one. Okay, whatever. The one like they, fucking crap, man. So I made this myself. While I was printing up my popular font ones, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll do this one." Okay, I'm just going to scroll right to the bottom now. If I've missed anyone, just ask it again. I keep seeing message retracted, deleted comments and shit. What the fuck is that? Is that censorship or are you guys in it? What? Oh, this is a good question. It's not really Syria related. Whatever. Abu Salah, the cameraman. What are the best cameras to use for on-the-ground journalism and affordable? I'm not that technical, but I think the biggest camera I would ever use in doing frontline is a C300. I would never use anything bigger than that. I've seen some guys take mental, like huge cameras. I think it's shit. I think it alienates you and it's just not very safe. Pardon me. And I feel like it's just not the best idea to have this big fucking camera on your shoulder if you've got to run. Probably the best camera that I've seen, my friend Phil was filming when we were in Salopi in Southeast Turkey. He had this A7S rig and we had this like purpose-made rig by this lad. He made it for us. It was just like a shoulder rig, and so I had this like small camera like here and here, and we could just like run like it was, and it's like this big. It was brilliant. Yeah, it was really good. When will you take proper time off? Deserved it, mate. Fuck that, man. Like I was thinking about it the other day, and people saying, "Oh, go on holiday." Like, can't, man. I can't. Like, I feel like now the momentum of Popular Front is fucking there. Like, I feel like we're flying, and I feel like I'm finally getting across to everybody, and people are realizing like this ain't me. This ain't just media. This is for all of us. I feel like the ethos is getting in now, and people are getting it. Like, oh fuck, like I'm a little weirdo. Like I can do this too. If Jay can do it, and these guys can do it, like anyone can do it. I've had people message me and say like, oh, before this, I was just thinking, people were really compromising their principles. To kind of get into conflict journalism and, becoming like analysts, soulless analysts and having to change their lives. And And then they saw Popular Front and were like, fuck, there's another way. Like, don't trust me, I ain't going to get rich with Popular Front. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, there is another way to do things, I think. Not that like I'm some fucking great guy, but I do feel like I recognize that, like, yeah, there's other freaks. And I mean that in a good way. Like, there's other oddballs out there that are like, want to get involved in this. I've seen so many people come from like, even like old days of 4chan and like Something Awful and Reddit, and people that were always involved in kind of conflict in a way, like with this tracking stuff, and just I feel like a lot of those kind of people are finding their place, not finding their place, but found a place in Popular Front. And I just want to be like, yeah, let's keep going. So I think if you'd start taking time off when the momentum's high, fuck it up, man. And it's only really me. There's like a few people helping, but it's only really me. So if I start taking time off, Patrons are fickle as well, man. They've started subscribing. Anyway, let me scroll. Any advice for someone looking to go in your footsteps? Fucking don't, mate. Do not get into journalism, man. It's terrible now. Weird question from Caliber. Weird question, but how is mobile network out there? Is there usually a connection? Yeah, there's usually a connection. It depends. Like when you're in Kobani, you get Turkcell, and then when you're elsewhere, you pick up the Syria one, which I can't remember what it is, man. I forget. I don't know what the Syria one was, but You stayed in Rojava. Did you go to Aleppo in SAA-controlled regions or the FSA-controlled regions? No, because you fucking can't. Absolutely no. First of all, if you walk anywhere near regime, you've come into the country technically illegally according to the regime. Even in Kamishli, I was like, I'm not even staying in Kamishli because a guy got kidnapped. Murphy, no, he's eating this. You know that Jerry L book? Yeah, that photo book. He sent me it, and now he's trying to eat it. It's like the most beautiful book. Come here. Wait, come on, mate. Come on, mate. Drop me here. Go on there. So no, you can't go into those areas. And in terms of FSA, I mean, FSA don't really properly exist, I don't think, at this stage. You've got like FSA in Afrin, but I've met FSA. I met FSA in jail, man, and they were like fucking amazing, good people, secular guys, and they were definitely not the kind of people that are like destroying Afrin and place like that. Billy Bob just said, Jake BNP confirmed, hey, I've been punching up racists when you lot were still using racist words in school because you're middle class. So BNP, come to my door. Nah, mate. Right, where are we? Why is it scrolling up and then down? Excuse me. Did the British security services contact you after your travel to the Middle East, I guess Syria? No, man, they didn't. No, I was surprised, actually. I thought they might do, but they didn't. Good boy. But they didn't know. It was okay. What do conservative Muslims in Rojava think about the SDF and the YPG in control, and what do they think life is like under SDF after ISIS? Very good question, because we actually met some guys, and they were like, and I got a lot of flack for even talking to them. I put it on Twitter and said what they said, and people were like, you're just trying to find people that say such things, mate. Walk around yourself, go and see yourself, and you'll hear. So we went to these guys in was it Tal Tamr? Was that Tal Tamr? I can't remember. Anyway, we went to some some Arab shopkeepers and stuff like that, conservative Muslim guys, and they were like, we don't really like seeing women around. We don't agree that they should have power or weapons, but we don't mind the YPG. And they were like, look, we don't really like them, but we definitely don't want the regime back, and we certainly don't want ISIS. So fuck it, we don't mind them. They were like, we don't mind them here. Like, they don't fuck with us really. Like they even said, like, they were openly criticizing them, and they didn't, and they said, "Yep, take a picture, what's your name, everything." So they went on record. They didn't care. So yeah, to be honest, I think they just don't like seeing women with any power. Like, for example, one guy was like, "I'm pissed off with the YPG because I wanted 2 wives and now I can't have 1." Some people, sorry mate, but you got to get with it, and it's like whatever, So I didn't really hear any like strong arguments against it. We met one guy, like old guy. He was kind of, he had a, how would you say, look kind of Saudi dress. I don't know what the proper terminology is, like the like red and white headdress, kind of like Yasser Arafat look. And he was like, I'm all for it. He was like, I love it. Give the women weapons. I've told my daughters, if you want to, he was just like a good guy. And he was like, I'm fucking all for it. He's like, times have changed. Do this now. And he was just a random guy we spoke to outside of mechanics in the middle of the street, I think in Tal Tamr or Tel Abyad, I don't know. I'm sure if you go to Deir ez-Zor, things will be different. But, Deir ez-Zor is Deir ez-Zor. Deir ez-Zor is a very specific place, especially in terms of that stuff. You an MI6 agent? I wish I fucking was, mate. I'd have more money, that's for sure. Would love to see Ed Calderon on the podcast talking about the state of the Mexican cartels. Mate, I told Ed, I spoke to Ed, I said, come on Popular Front. He's like, yep. He was going to come on, but every time he calls me or like message me, he's like, I've got an hour, let's go. And I'm like somewhere else, like no one in my computer. And then I emailed him after he was on Joe Rogan and said, like, look, let's figure a date out. And I didn't hear from him. So maybe he's too big now. But no, I love his work, man. I think Ed's manifesto is really cool. Do you have any potential plans for expanding Popular Front, or do you want to keep it pretty small? Nah, mate, I want to go fucking worldwide, mate. It's going to keep the ethos of like small grassroots, family kind of, not family, you know, I feel like the people involved, the community is like kind of family based. And if we ever get money, certainly there'll be like, if we ever get money, somehow there'll be people that I'm like, you're going to work with me, you know, like paying them and shit. I've met some amazing people through this, but I want it to be massive. I want it to be not massive in the terms of like Vice kind of like, oh, let's sell out and like fucking work with the devil to push stuff, and not like that. I want it to be a small team always, but I want it to be able to have a team. I'd love to have like a fucking office and say like, wait, come and work for us. We'll give you a decent wage. You know, we'll do all that. Like, I'd love to do it like that. But I do want to keep hold of it always, you know, and I don't think anyone's going to fucking buy it. I've slagged off so many like potential investors. So, you know, what can I do? Any chance of having a series dedicated to food/cooking in war zones? Absolutely fucking not. I've heard of these kind of ideas and I don't really agree with them. I remember one time, Aris, when I worked with him, he was with his friend Freddie, who'd like filmed. They were in Aleppo, and there was a guy selling hot dogs or something. Freddie was like, "Oh, I wish we could have spent like a whole day filming with the guy who was making the hot dogs." And I remember Aris made a really good point. He said, "You want to go all the way to fucking Aleppo, where like kids are being killed by barrel bombs, and you want to spend a day with a guy filming hot dogs?" He was like, that's not what I'm there for, you know. I had nothing against those kind of dogs, but I'm the same. Like, if I'm in danger, mate, I'm not doing hot dogs. That dog is an ISIS sleeper agent. Fuck you, mate. Fuck you. He's he told me he's a green anarcho nihilist, and yeah, he's just out here, man. He's also an Irish Republican. It's interesting. Yeah, he's not an ISIS agent. Hello, I'm from Syria. I don't like your video. Sorry. Cool, bro. Don't give a fuck. How large on average are the hides that Daesh has throughout the desert? Hide? Like, I guess you mean like where they're hiding? Fuck knows, mate. There's sleeper cells all the time, and certainly like in Raqqa, it's very like everyone's very aware, and you see like, I mean, that's not the desert to answer your question, but I don't know about the desert. But in Raqqa, you'll see people who are like, they're like looking at you. I mean, maybe it's me being paranoid, but they'll look at you and they kind of like stare right in your eyes as if to be like, you know, I kept winking at them and stuff just to kind of annoy them. But like, always men, obviously, looking you in your eyes is like with fucking hate. And you know, I said to our fix, and I was like, that's fucking, they got to be like ISIS sleeper, you know, like a lot of people just took off their whatever and kind of fell back into civilian life, which is why they have sleeper cells and why the Asaish having to patrol all the time. And I said to Vix, like, it's got to be ISIS. She was like, yeah, I saw a few like that won't even look her in the eyes, and you know, and stuff like this. So maybe they're just extremely conservative. Considering it's Raqqa, I think it's yeah. Jenko Unchained. Murphy is secretly a grey wolf. Got to put you down, mate. You got to get put down. That's what's happening. Jay, why do you support ISIS? I support ISIS. That's a new one. Don't, mate. Never supported ISIS. They wanted to cut my fucking head off in jail. Did you meet an Assad supporter in Rojava? No one openly talking about Assad. Honestly, everyone was just, I mean, obviously in Kamishlo you see like the other side, and there's big fuck off Assad portraits and like Hafez with his big fucking alien brain. Like there's a big statue of him, and all the like angry looking regime guards look like fucking, they just want to kill you. Like they look horrible. But certainly we didn't meet anyone that was like an Assad supporter. To be honest, everyone was like, without even asking them, were quite open and like, fuck the regime, like we don't want to go back, especially people in Kamishli, especially Kurds in Kamishli, who, you know, for years couldn't get where they wanted to be career-wise because simply they were Kurdish, you know. Like, you know, I don't know, there's someone that we were talking to was saying that like she got kicked out of her university thing because she was a Kurd and there was like an Arab that wanted to get it or whatever. Not even an Arab, it's like it's not even Arab, like all the Arabs don't fucking want regime back either. It's like Ba'athist types, you know. So yeah, it's they definitely don't want that. Why is all these retracting messages? Don't be a pussy. Like, just say it. How do you stay impartial, as in do your work, but you're biased certain times? Somehow, would you work around that? Don't really understand. I mean, I get what you're saying. There is no such thing as complete impartiality. Any journalist that tells you they're completely unbiased is a fucking psychopath. Anyone that sees the horrors of war and becomes completely unbiased is a fucking psychopath. So that's bullshit. Me, I'm pro anyone that is anti. My one political kind of red line is authoritarianism. I am completely and utterly against any form of authoritarianism, totalitarianism. And you know, that's why, like I say, I fucking hate fascists and I hate Stalinist, tanky, communist types, you know, claim to be leftist. That to me is not leftism at all. So yeah, fuck them. But yeah, them I like, you know, a lot of people say you're pro YPG or this. I'm like, mate, like I'm pro people that don't cut people's heads off and make women wear niqabs. Sorry if that's a bother to you. You know, you get all these like DC hacks, like scumbags. They're like never going to leave their office. And a lot of them are conservative themselves. So they see a kind of a weird affinity with like hardcore conservative Islam. I really, you know, Kyle, what's his fucking name? Orton, that guy, for example, like he is like he's like a very like hard right Tory in the UK, and then surprise he supports all these like jihadists, you know, despite, you know, he will never be able to be around any of them. So there is that, like, you know, so everyone's got a bias, man. If you oh, Jake's obvious bias, this blah blah blah, whatever, mate. It just rolls off, man. I don't care. You know, there's a lot of people, like I said before on Twitter, there's a lot of people that talk about me in these tiny little like circles that they feel like are really important, and it's like, mate, no one cares about that. No one cares about your tiny little chat or whatever. Loads of people like Popular Front, and I am gonna keep doing it for them. If you like, oh, Jane, you did this, you did that, I don't care, mate. Just don't care, you know. Would you describe the Ba'athist government as secular? Absolutely not, because they wouldn't give, you know, certain people don't get jobs and that based on their ethnicity, so, or their religion or whatever. So no. What's more fucked, Hafez's forehead or Assad's neck? Fuck, man. You know what? It's like, you know that video where there's that black guy with the thick neck and then the white guy with a skinny long neck. Like Hafez and Assad should do a fucking rap video like that. Obviously, Hafez is a corpse, but fucking no. That's the best question, yeah. You're a very in tune person. Fucking, I am not. Like you're doing exactly what you should be doing, exactly when you should. I appreciate that, man, but loads of people really don't like what I'm doing. A lot of people saying it's activism disguised as journalism, which is like, no, mate. So here's something I've noticed. If you're like a neoliberal or liberal, whatever, like if you're that and you're a journalist, anything that you go for, generally the journalism community will back you up and be like, yes, that's correct. But if you're like any other ideology, if you're an anarchist and you're a journalist, anything you do will therefore them, oh, he was an activist. Well, no, you can have a political idea the same as the neolibs or the conservatives do and still do journalism, and it doesn't mean that it's activism. I've never been an activist in my life. When I was like 13, 14, I was very heavily into like the voluntarist movement and like anti-fascist action, but when it was not like shit, you know, when it wasn't for losers. I was very much into like leftist libertarian stuff, but I've never been an activist. Never been to a protest as an activist in my life. I've only ever been to cover it. I don't give a fuck enough, I'll be honest. I'm not asked enough, like in this country, you know. Sounds bad. It is what it is, you know. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely not an activist. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people hate what I do. A lot of people love it, man. It's cool. It's good as well. Like I think as well, like with the Popular Front community, for example, on the Discord, there's loads of people that don't get on. Or do get on, but like don't agree. Like we've got like centrists, neoliberals, neocon, I think maybe anarchists. I think there's like a few communists, and like everyone's just like the rules is just like I said, there's no fucking eggshells. Like if you want to tell someone fuck you or swear or say cunt or whatever, no, you can. There's none of this stupid like, oh, don't say that, you'll offend someone. But then there is this rule of like respect everybody, and everybody does. Like man, we've got gay people, like trans, I think, like everyone in there, like. And no one makes it their thing. It's just like, that's me, cool. Like, let's talk about conflict. That's our idea. Popular Front is for everyone. We don't all have to agree on the same shit, but we can all come together to do this kind of weird look at whatever, man. Fuck it, why not, innit? Can we expect to see anything about Kashmir soon? Yeah, good question. I want to do an episode for the podcast about Kashmir, but every time I'm like, I don't know enough about it. I've read a bit about it, and I'm still like, who the fuck do I ask? It's such a contentious topic. You know, it's probably why I'll never do an Israel-Palestine one just about the region. Obviously, I'll wait till something kicks off, and we can do each side. But it's just such a contentious situation. I would like to talk to someone who's been there recently. Maybe there's that photographer at New York Times. He was there recently, and just to get an idea of what the lockdown is like, you know. S2E, doing things to help people is bad mainstream journalism. Yeah, that's true. I remember when I first got into journalism and I was at Vice, I was very like, oh no, you shouldn't help anyone, and it's very it's not very professional. I was in that loop, like I was, you know, I was a fucking labourer before I was working in journalism. I mean, I was writing on the side, but before I had the full-time journalism job, I was labouring on a building site. So I was just like, follow whatever I'm kind of seeing. And I realized, like, fuck that, this is a job, but there's human lives around, and like, oh, someone at the frontline club might, you know, say, oh, Jake shouldn't have done this, or fuck, who gives a fuck, mate? Like, I realised, like, who gives a fuck? Some fucking snotty rich prat who's like, oh, I know what I'm doing in journalism. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have said that. Like, fuck off, you fucking arsehole. Do you know what I mean? Who gives a fuck? Like, I think no one. So what I'm saying is a lot of journalism is made for the journalists, and that's fucking bullshit. I'm putting this on because I'm cold, but it is Popular Front. And if you want to buy one, popularfront.bigcartel.com, mate. But yeah, it's just like a lot of journalism is like fucking made for journalists. It's just like, fuck off. That's not what you're meant to be doing. Like, you shouldn't be making journalism for each other. You should be making it, you know. Well, that's fucking bright, isn't it? Look how bright I am. Fuck me. That's better. That looks like a fucking screen mask. You're everywhere, Jenko Unchained. Yeah, he's funny as fuck, man. He's probably one of the funniest people on Twitter. What the lines between SDF and SAA look like? Can civilians move freely? Do soldiers interact with each other? I didn't see them interact. Like in Commissionly, certainly they're like fight each other every, like, I think like that once a year they have like a clash. It's weird, man. There's this roundabout in Commissionly where, like I said, one half is regime with like fucking big Hafez head and Assad on the walls. It's horrible actually. Like when you see like Assad, like knowing what he's done, it's just like, it's creepy as fuck, man. Excuse me. But then, so you have like the regime soldiers, like this, obviously because it's a roundabout, and then like regime are on here, and then like you just see all the color from like YPG and Rojava stuff on one side. Yeah, and it's just weird, man. There's like a market, and if it's like between the two, you know, it's between the, so say there's the roundabout, there's the road. I think it's like that. There's a market. And it looks great, but I was, you know, a few kind of Westerners have been kidnapped by the regime soldiers while I was there, or around the time I was there. So I was like, fuck that, I'm not even looking. You know, people are saying, like, oh, you know, just keep your head down if you go in the market. I was like, mate, I ain't even going to the market, you know. So yeah, it was weird. I certainly don't think they communicate. I'm sure they do, but I don't think they do it often, you know, like civilians can pass in between as far as I'm aware, but if anyone's kind of a person of interest, then you're fucked, you know. It's too hot, it's too cold. Yeah, mate, it just got dark, man. So, you know, things get cold. It's weather. Ask Khyber Armory guy about Kashmir, maybe. That's a good shout. Khyber Armory guy, he just popped up. I think he's something to do with Silla Report. Fucking good guys. And Khyber Armory seems a really good guy as well. I like what he does. That Khyber Pass stuff where he's with like the last gun makers of Khyber Pass is fucking cool, man. To be honest, it's a shame. Like if I'd have known he had that, I'd have reached out and said, let's do a Popular Front collaboration and let's put that out through Popular Front and work out a way of doing it. Oh man, there's a lot of questions here. Hi, I'm Riki. I'm not American. Afari Mamosta. Is that you, Afarin? Is that you? Yeah. Top guy. I don't know if it's him. How is Assad an authoritarian? What is the proof of the barrel bomb claim? I think the proof is the barrel bombs that they drop, that they've filmed. Yeah, and all the kids they've killed with it. Yeah, Kurt. I mean, it sounds like the footage of the first months of Berlin being split. Yeah, it's kind of like that in a way, and not as extreme, obviously, but like there'll be roads you'll look down, and there's just fucking like barrels up to the top of the roofs with like fucking regime flags painted on them, you know. Yeah. Oh, Ollie, mate, don't start arguing with this install Gento guy. Like, you know, just let him talk, man. It's fine. Just chatting shit. Alexander McKeever, what podcast did you listen to while in Rojava? Only Popular Front. Yeah, I wanted to listen to my own voice over and over and over again. So I only listened to Popular Front. But you know what podcast I listen to, Alexander. You know, mate. Funny question. Journalism and condescending liberals goes hand in hand these days. It's quite a bit of a circle jerk, really. Yeah, it is, man. Kind of, yeah, it is. I mean, I got friends, most where I like, not most, but I got friends that are like liberals and they're fucking fine. But when they get involved in journalism, it becomes, I don't know, like their brain goes fucking mad. Is there a journalism circle jerk and why do they keep non-believers out? Oh yeah, there's this, fuck me, the journalism circle jerk is unbearable. I remember before I went to jail, no one in London circle jerk journalism scene gave a fuck about me. Even though I feel like I was doing good work, you know, I'm the first guy to film with the Yidiga Hash, the PKK youth and stuff like that. And I feel like I was doing good work and, you know, I felt good. I was like a normal guy. Like I felt like I'm a working class guy coming to an elitist industry. And I hate to play on that class shit, but like for me, it was a good thing. For me, I was like, I'm happy, I'm doing this. But like no one gave a fuck about my work, whatever. And then I went jail and then we got invited to the Frontline Club and people are like, trying to get you to pretend to be like distraught and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to talk to you about my fucking feelings. It's random rich strangers. You know what I mean? So fuck, man. Like there's such a circle jerk. And there's like a thing where like, you know, people will be like, I meet so many people and they're like, your reputation precedes you, Jake. I had that in Syria. I went with one of my best friends in Syria. I met him out there, best friends in the world. I met him in Syria. And he was someone that said that. And she was a really cool reporter. Like she was a nice person, but she even said that. And I was like, what does it even mean? Like, why? Because I'm a fucking loud. I don't know. Like, fuck, I don't fucking know. But yeah, there's a circle jerk, and they're just like, they don't like for anyone to be kind of deviate from this path. And certainly if you want to make money in journalism, you should stay in the circle jerk. But that's why I'm broke. Is Jeffrey Epstein dead? Of course he's dead, man. But was he suicided or not? Trump and Hillary had a little pact and got him to suicide himself. I don't know. You're not allowed to say that. If you don't think he was committing suicide, you're a conspiracy theorist, man. What was the process like trying to get into Syria? If you can reveal that, how did it compare to trying to get into other conflict zones? I've answered that, mate. You were late, disgusting. But no, it was hard on the Iraqi side, and to be honest, like the people at the point where you cross were really fucking helpful, really nice. Kudrat, really nice. She helped us out, and we waited there for like 5 hours. Must have been pissing her off so much. But she sorted us out, and in the end, this guy sorted us out. We got across, and when you get into Rojava, everything is surprisingly efficient. And that's not me. That's not like some pro-YPG like white guy saying it. All the fixers, our friends in Iraq, who were not even particularly, really don't give a shit about YPG or any of their kind of ideas, were like, it's so easy to work in Rojava. Like it's, you know, it's a lot easier. There's a lot less red tape for reporters anyway. I'm sure there's a lot more for everybody else. But for us, it was fucking hell. I haven't worked anywhere in the Middle East at that little kind of red tape, other than like the YDGH situation, that was different because it was like a bunch of youth in the middle of a fucking war zone. They were like, wow, there's some random English guy here, like go and film whatever you want. But yeah, it was cool. Are you going to do a journalist trip to Hong Kong about the Hong Kong protests? I want to, but I hate to always say this, I'm broke, but like, fuck man, it's a struggle out here, mate. Freelance life is tricky, but the Patreon's doing well now, so things are definitely a lot easier, but I have a lot of outgoings, just debt and fucking, you know, and I won't pull money from Popular Front to do with, you know, to do other stuff. So I do freelance work. I did a lot of stuff for BBC this year, you know, and stuff like that, and you know, whatever. So it's a struggle to balance everything. I'm trying to work out, like, if I pay the money to go there, can I take it out of here, and will it, you know, it's not profitable. It's not about profit. It's like, will it last? Will I be able to be in Hong Kong? But I just found out someone went there, that the flights are like fucking £1,000 and shit, man. It's so hard. But me and Luke Pierce, who I filmed with in Ukraine, we're trying to work out a way to go. Like he's trying to, you know, he lived there, so he's gonna say like, oh, we might have somewhere like a floor to sleep on, literally. And then I just spoke to that Thomas Van Linge, like kind of young activist guy on Twitter, and he's just got there and he said like, you don't even need to translate. Everyone speaks English, but I do want someone on the ground that I can hang around with and, you know, get an idea of what's going on. But I do want to go, man. But it's, I don't know, it's just tricky. It's expensive. It's really expensive. It's like a particularly expensive place. But if I can, I'll go. But now I've got this dog, man. I've got to wait a few weeks because you can't barely leave the house. Didn't Vice put a campaign to release you? I remember that. Yeah, they did, man. Vice, to be honest, you know, I have a lot of problems with Vice, but the way they have helped us and are continuing to help us with our case for when I was jailed is amazing. They've really looked after us in that sense. Like, I'm not against Vice specifically. I'm against what it became. And to be honest, the people that came in and made it what it is now, they aren't Vice. That wasn't what Vice was about. So they're just like alien. And I don't like them. And I'm always like, I don't want to get into this. I've kind of passed that bit of stage now, I promise. But it's just like, it's such a shame, you know, like we're onto such a good thing. It sounds like they care more about the image of social aspect of journalism than actually being committed to the work. Absolutely. How do you think the Hong Kong situation is going to play out? The keeper said Jenkins equals Jeffrey Epstein. For anyone that doesn't know, it's like a friend of ours. He's involved in Popular Front. How do you think the Hong Kong situation is going to play out? To be honest, man, I think it could go really bad. I don't think the armed forces. This morning I was like, oh, it looks like the armed forces are going to go in. But then I had a little read and kind of got some more information and spoke to a few people, and it's likely that the armed police are going to go in now and deal with the protesters, which is going to be fucking horrible, man. Fuck me, there's a lot now. Do you think conservative Muslim journalists, filmmakers go into Rojava? Absolutely, man. They let people in that fucking hate them. Like they let like people in that just go in to criticize them, and they go in to criticize them to kind of be able to keep going back to Turkey and stuff. Like it's crazy the people they let in. Like I said to them, like I met some press people there, and I was like, "What do you think of this recent thing?" And they were like, "Oh, it's fucked." Like, you know, we kind of want them to come in, and they do these. So people will come in. We'll go through Rojava. Another person, Shane Bauer, who did that massive, like 10,000 word piece for Mother Jones and ended it with him like fist fighting his fixer. Like, mate, if you're fist fighting your fixer at the end of your trip, you're a fucking cunt and you've ruined something, because fixers, good fixers, who I'm presuming it was because he got 10,000 words out of the thing, are fucking valuable and just amazing. And like my fixer, I hate that my fixer, the fixer I was working with in Rojava, Habat Abbas, is one of the best people I've ever met, you know, and it's just like, just good people, man, good fixers. So if you're fighting with your fixer, like fucking idiot, man. But yeah, like, so Shane Bauer went into Rojava and he went the whole way through there and he got access to everything he wanted to get access to through Rojava, because it's free, because you can do this and that. And he just called it like a US backed enclave, and just like ignored everything that's happened there. And it's just weird that people do that. Jacob Janowski, hi Jay. Hello mate, how are you? Jacob Janowski is like the fucking #1 guy for documenting Assad war crime fuckery. Yeah, so I don't know, there's a weird situation where they like let people in and then people fuck them over, which, you know, is fine, because you can't just, obviously it's journalism, you're not just going in to make fucking, you know, yellow journalism. I told them as well, I said, you do anything wrong, it's fucking going out. And they were like, yeah. I said, just trust me, like, I'm not a fucking comrade, you know, like I'm here, but I'm not a comrade and that. And they were like, do you know what? They end up respecting that more. There's a lot of people that go, who are like, been drinking too much Bidgie juice, you know, like they don't believe that YPG could ever do anything wrong. And you know what I mean? Like them kind of idiots. And to be honest, they're like, they don't really like people that are overtly like begging it like that, I think, because it's clear that they're not professional. And it's, you know, it's cool, like they'll have supporters, but it's like, what's that going to do for them? Like, oh cool, another guy that like really loves us just tells people how great we are. Like, it's not that useful, you know, which I'm sure a lot of people say that about me, but fuck them. Can't keep up with the chat, man. Was Razul released from prison? Yeah, man. 131 days he was released. He's like one of my best friends, man. Like, me and him are cool. Jacob Janowski, what's he saying here? I still have some hope that the Chinese leadership isn't totally nuts and at least avoid using deadly force. Me as well, man. I fucking hope so. I expect China to still crush protesters. I think so as well, man. That's like the militant totalitarianism of China. That's, you know, it's the way it's going, and it's the way I think it's going to happen. I wish protesters would win this. Yeah, man, the protests in Hong Kong have like blown me away, man. I've never seen an organization like that. They have this saying, "Be water." I saw Laurel Chor, I think, was saying about that. Anyway, and Yeah, Be Water, I think they have, and they have this idea that they turn up, just gone, like people can't even keep up with them. Yeah, and it's just amazing how well organized they are, and they're also like, they've got class. You know, they're not just like, sure, they're smashing stuff and like punching up police officers, fucking protesters. It's resistance. What do you expect? But they're also like, they have class. You know, like there's I see some footage earlier where there's some guy who's like pro-China. He's in a car, he gets out arguing, and one of them like punches him in the back of the head, and then the others are like, fucking stop it, and then start smashing up his windscreen. The others are trying to stop him, and it's like there's definitely some class there where it's like not just a free for all. You know, like you get like some like, I don't know, what's a good example? I don't know, like US Antifa, which, you know, I don't particularly consider them very militant. They'll just like punch a guy up, and then a few other people punch a guy up, and it's just like, was that worth it? When you look at the Hong Kong protesters, it's like they know what they're doing. Their goal is obvious, and they don't pick weak targets, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And I think it's very interesting to see. Ollie Mizzy, what's your stance on the PYD? Don't know, mate. What do you mean by that? Maybe be more clear. Did you see any of the Turkish volunteers over there? No, I did see one of the. So, did you see any Turkish volunteers over in Rojava? I think you mean. I saw the graves of some, but I didn't see any of. I didn't meet any volunteers, but I did see some of the graves of some, and they're in Kobani, and they're a big source of pride, I think, actually, because like a few people were like, come and look at the Turkish martyrs, like they came for us and fought with us. You know, that's cool. You know, it is whatever. Well, an hour. Not got much to do. Should I stay? I don't know. Should I stay on? 72 viewers is all right, I guess. Maybe stay on. I don't know. Were you in Rojava when all the fires were destroying the crops? You think that was ISIS, Turkish backed or Bath? That's a good question. To be honest, I did see some of the fires, and like they were just from weather, man. Like I think it was just so fucking hot, and you'd ask people, and they were like, no, they were like, maybe ISIS set it, maybe regime set it. Like no one seemed that. No one really knew, you know. Definitely, no one really. Actually, at Jimwa, like the women's village, there was like a fucking complete encirclement of like fires, and it was just like the fires had been put out, I should say, but it was like all black, and it was like within 6 feet of coming, you know, to the village, and it was like very clear that to me, I thought that didn't look like an accident to me, and excuse me, I think if I remember right, there was some suspected regime people nearby or something. Oh, fucking no. Whatever. Yeah, fuck it. Let's keep going. Why not? Oh my god, it's moving fast. Jake, you are the best. I'm not just saying that to myself. Thanks, mate. I'm not, but we're doing something cool, huh? It's all working. Russia Al-Akidi. What do the SDF/Ash'is think of TBE? What's TBE? I don't know what that is. KRG. Oh, I didn't even speak to them, to be honest, about it. Like, they're just like, I know like a lot of like YPG. I kind of like you speak to a few of them about it, and they're just like, they're like, they're our brothers, but the state isn't. You know what I mean? They're like, we don't like the way they do things over there. It's like hyper capitalist society. You know. Yeah. This fucking chat is just turning into the Discord. Did you see Wrath of Olive's new video today? It was a bit out of the ordinary. They showed the aftermath of the assassination of a TFSA, but the assassin put a knife through his chest. Fucking hell, that's grim, man. No, I didn't. That's horrible, man. If they're becoming like their enemies, like they're not really, there's not much resistance, is there? What are your thoughts on the US trade taxes on China? Oh, mate, fuck knows, I don't know. No idea. I try not to get too involved with that kind of stuff. I'm too stupid to understand that kind of shit. What are the gun laws for regular citizens in both Syria and Rojava? That's a good question. So Rojava, like, due to the kind of YPG's ideas, it's like every home should have a rifle just for resistance or whatever. So everyone has a rifle. But it's like that everywhere, I think. Our chef had loads of weapons and was kept showing us pictures of me. He like loved guns, like, and the guys working as well. But Evans like loved guns as well. I believe in self-defense. I don't particularly give a fuck about guns or anything. I couldn't ID anything other than an AK. Like, I'm not that interested. But everyone seems to have weapons, you know, and all the old people had weapons as well. They'd made sure like the mamas had weapons in the house and like rifles just to organize like local resistance if anything happened. Yeah, man, everyone's got a rifle, I think. Would you like to do anything in South America? Yeah, man, definitely. I went to Peru with Vice. I don't think that's South America, is it? My geography's so bad. What is it? Central? I don't fucking know. No, it's South America, isn't it? I went to Peru, did a film about illegal gold mining, which I was one of the things that I wasn't a producer on. Normally, when I did my docs, I was the producer as well as the reporter, and I had this producer that it just kind of fucked it all up, so it never went out. But it was cool to be in South America. For a long time, my two main focuses were Middle East and South America. I was really interested in South American stuff, but now less so. I don't know. Now I think I'm just like conflict. Sorry, I keep messing my hair like right tart, but it just looks so fucked, man. Who's your least favorite Discord member? Makiva, definitely. Hate him. Who's your least? Oh. Hey, what's the stream generally about? Yeah, sorry, mate. It was meant to be about Syria. Like, just got back from Syria. People messaging, asking stuff. So I thought, fuck it, let's do an ask me anything or Q&A about what I saw in Syria. It's not like I'm no fucking expert, whatever. But it, just kind of Syria. But it's now turned into like Popular Front. I think chat. Fuck it, why not? Fuck it, who cares, man? It's what day is it? Monday, like. I'm having a rest. I've been editing all day, like, so I'm having a rest doing this. I guess. Up the PF, yep. How's the ITS doc coming along? Oh, mate, don't. Fucking hell. Mate, I've got hours of footage they sent me. Like, so, like, I didn't go and interview them, obviously, because they just fucking kill you. But, like, I managed to get in contact with one. I got in contact with an intermediary. I can't even say that word. got in contact with, like, I don't know, a fence, like someone in between. And I was like, I want to interview. I interviewed one of them on this secure chat. I was going to write an article. They mentioned Zale, the leader. And I was like, fuck it, I want to talk to Zale. And they were like, I wanted to do like a live chat, ask questions. I hate sending questions. I don't even write questions down when I interview people. I just do research and then just ask whatever. But then, security concerns, he wouldn't do it that way. So they said, send us questions. And we did it that way. Joseph Cabello, what's your background? Cool, man. It seems like loads of people that don't really know put me in front of me, which is way like fucking brilliant. That's what I want to do. Oh yeah, I'll answer that. His background, so Popular Front is independent conflict journalism. I was working for Vice and HBO for like 5 years as a war reporter. Technically, I did a lot of stuff, but I think mostly I covered conflict. And then I left, and then became very disillusioned with journalism. And just like stopped pretending that I wasn't a shitbag, which I felt like I did when I was at Vice. I kind of tried to suppress myself. Like even when you watch some of my old docs, man, you can hear I'm trying to talk more clearly, which I fucking hate. That I'll never do that again. I wish I hadn't done that, but I was kind of like, oh no, like everyone's so posh and like they don't sound like me, and I should really limit how I should try and talk more clear. Now I'm like, fuck that, like it's bullshit. My accent ain't even that strong, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, so then we started Popular Front, which is completely grassroots, independent journalism. Did you buy a Tarsa? Yeah, man, I got a Tarsa and a Tarsa 2. Anyone that doesn't know, a Tarsa is like this, I guess, like collection of writings by this fucking weird eco-nihilist militant group called ITS, which they've barely done any attacks. Like all their attacks are quite small, but I'm just quite interested in them. I think they're called Wild Reaction now. No, they changed their name to Wild Reaction and then changed it back to ITS. So. Or no, I think Wild Reaction was their first name and then they changed it to ITS. Something like that. Shoga H. Frost. How does Rojava get supplies / trade from the outside world? That's a good question, man. I think the coalition are giving them a lot of money for like reconstruction and stuff like that. What else? Like all the products are from Turkey, all products are from Turkey mostly. Fuck knows how that gets across. Smuggling, I honestly don't know enough about. That's a really good question. Something I should have actually asked a bit more about. Quite annoyed I didn't know. Yeah, good question, man. I don't fucking know, but I mean, imagine a lot of smuggling. A lot of stuff just comes to the KIG, I think. Actually, yeah, smuggling. When I was in Southeast Turkey in 2015 in Jizra, there was a smuggling route right nearby. In fact, we actually drove up and had a look at it. You could like see right, and you could fucking walk into Syria basically if you wanted at that time, because there wasn't all the stuff up there now. Then it was when like Kobani was just happening, and yeah, a lot of I remember a guy saying like a lot of smuggling goes through there. Lawrence Dobney, hey up Jake, long time no speak. Met you at Heathrow when Jack Holmes was brought home and again at his funeral. Oh hello mate. Yeah, it was a sad day, wasn't it? I've seen you've been busy since we last spoke. Keep up the good work, mate. Lawrence. Leeds, I remember you, man. Yeah, I gave you a number for someone, didn't I? Yeah, man. I think I did. Yeah, mate. It's, busy, man. Busy. Ollie Mizzy, I only ask because many Kurdish political parties were shut down in 2017 by PYD. Yeah, they were. PYD consolidated their power. I mean, to be honest, quite fucked up doing that. I don't know what else what to say about it. It's fucked up and it's bad. War's pretty grim. What's your thoughts on the monopoly on the politics in the north? To be honest, like I said, it's war. I think they kind of have to. And also, like, people need to realise that, the Middle East doesn't work like liberal Europe or whatever does. So things that seem outrageous to some people are not outrageous so much out there. I think it's bad. I do think it's kind of bad, the way they did that. But I also kind of get why, from practicality point of view. But it's pretty fucked up and probably a really bad move, actually, thinking about it, because now it could probably, saying that though, like the other groups are just like proxies for certain other groups, man. It's a weird one. I don't know. I mean, certainly it's an authoritarian thing to do, to shut them down, and that is bad. Yeah, man. I don't know what to say about it. It's fucked up, I guess. Yeah. Is Atasa 2 worth a read? Oh, fucking hell, mate. It's like, I mean, Atasa 1's hard enough to read. You know what I mean? It's like, the way they write is just so stupid. Like, they think they're being really clever, and they're like, oh, it's a really traditional way of writing. We're going back to our roots of. It's like, mate, it's nearly fucking ununderstandable. Like, it's stupid. It's like when, like, scumbags, like fucking tankies, like Ben Norton, the way they talk on Twitter. Like, no one speaks like that. No one can understand you, really. You know what I mean? If the only people that can understand you are your fucking radical book club, what's the point? Roger, this is relevant to Syria, but others too. How do you think it's appropriate to profiteer off of this? Plus, you condemn resistance and even mock it. Don't condemn resistance. Don't mock it. How do I think it's? How do you think it's appropriate? What isn't appropriate about it? Journalism, reporting on bad things that happen in the world, completely appropriate. Absolutely fine. All resistance groups need to be wary of this guy. Yeah, man. What was he saying? Resistance groups do not need the media anymore. Do not work with these frauds and spies. All groups be wary of working or giving interviews or access to these media spies. Listen, resistance groups. Listen to Roger. Don't work with me. You see any community gardens? Yeah, man, the community garden's actually really beautiful. One place where I was staying, they had like one. It was really nice. It was weird, actually. Like, Rojava was a lot more green than the other side in Iraq. Jacob Janowski, do you think SDF will manage to stay independent, or will it be swallowed by the regime? I doubt that the regime is willing to allow any part of the Syria to be free of regime oppression. Yeah, I think that's real, mate. I think that's true. Like I've said already on the stream, I don't know if you saw it, but like everyone that you speak to, like YPG, all of them are like, there's this kind of nonsense by people that have never been to speak to people out there, like, YPG love the regime. Like, nah, they fucking hate them, man. Like, even commanders are just like, fuck, man. Like, most of them have got like a family member killed by the regime or imprisoned by the regime. We spoke to a fucking commander. I met the guy, the head of the HAT Special Forces, or one of the heads, sorry, in Comishli. And he had all these tattoos, and I said, oh, where'd you get them? And he was like, oh, like, I got sent to prison for like 4 years for burning a regime car back in the day. They're not friendly with the regime. Like, they're not friends with the regime. But when all your other options are shut down, I think it's like, look, this is war. We have to be practical. How can we not get destroyed by Turkey or Iran or whatever? And unfortunately, I think they think that the only way now is to make a deal with them. And I think it's too late. But I think what's going to happen is they'll end up making a deal within a couple of years. Regime will try and eat them up, and there'll be a huge conflict again. I think, that's what I think might happen. Yeah. So to answer your question, but again, I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about it. Where's Roger? Roger, where you at? Were you mocked resistance groups on your Vice series when you were begging it? Did I? Cool, man. Vice, I never had a series. Imagine I wanted Dead or Alive post of Jagan from Resistance HQ. imagine being Roger, man. Fuck. Go be a schizo somewhere else. Who, me? I'm a schizo every day. Have you ever struggled mentally with the shit you've seen? Yeah, in a way, but I don't really like to talk about that. I don't think it's worth talking about. I mean, I think it's clear I'm a bit of a fucking fruitcake anyway. Like, so but it's not so much. I think sometimes there's a thing where like journalists almost want to have PTSD. It's almost like You know, I remember one time I was at this Vice thing, and like a friend of mine where I live had been murdered. He got beaten to death, and no one had ever. And he's never been. It's like 6 years now. No one's ever. The police have never arrested. Or never. They've never solved the case, I should say. So a friend of mine got murdered, and I remember being at this Vice thing. And it was like the anniversary of his murder. And someone said, I think the guy was like, "Why are you so like miserable? You're quiet." So, oh, do you know what, mate? Like a friend of mine got murdered. Like I think it was like three years ago at the time. Like 3 years ago today. And I said, like, yeah, a friend of mine got murdered, man. Just kind of sad about it. And he was like, well, big fucking deal. My friend got his head cut off by ISIS. And I was like, okay, like, fucking hell. I was like, all right, like, sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like, sorry for being upset that my friend got killed. Yeah, and that was very much a kind of, that was like the PTSD circle jerk stage I remember seeing. And I was just like, fuck that. So I don't really want to be, I don't really want to talk about that. I think it's, look, if my head's fucked, like people that live there still are fucked. The people that live there, well, they're not fucked, they deal with it and they're like really resilient and it's amazing, it's cool. So I don't think they then come back and be like, oh, poor me, like, nah, fuck. Roger, are you resistance axis guy? I don't even know what any of this means. Vice boy, the Vice boy needs to be jailed. Already been jailed, mate. You missed it. Hopefully next time he's on the ground spying, people will clock him and disappear him. Doubt it. What's going on in the chat right now? I don't know, mate. Some madness. What makes Kurds and Arabs hate each other in Syria? They don't hate each other. Like the fucking, the group that I was with, Asaish, were working, for the SDF. So like, Syrian Democratic Forces made up largely of the YPG, who were made up largely of Kurds. And I was with all Arab fighters. Actually, no, one of them was Kurdish, one random Kurdish guy. And they were doing patrols around Raqqa, their city. They lived under ISIS there. And they were liberating it. You'll see in the footage I put out, Raqqa Patrol is coming out to this channel soon, by the end of the week. Inshallah, as they say. And they were like, nah, man, like, we don't fuck you. I mean, there is talk, like, someone was like, oh yeah, you know what, he's an Arab. Or they were like, you know what, he's a Kurd. And then that's just that kind of, like, if you're like some kind of woke fucking loser, you might take that too seriously. But when you realize, like, people fucking talk like that, it's not good, but it is what it is. And when you realize, like, those two people that say that probably like each other and work together, so whatever, it is what it is. Certainly there are, I'd say that Baathists hate Kurds. I wouldn't say Arabs hate Kurds. And I would say that, over the top Kurdish nationalists would hate Arabs rather than all Kurds hate Arabs. Like, it's bullshit, but it happens, Where's Roger? You wrote about a man from Scotland who went for ISIS. At any point, do you ever think about becoming a combatant in any of these conflicts you yourself have witnessed or learned? Yeah, that's my friend Callum. Callum Ross, who I interviewed for Esquire, became a personal friend of mine. Really nice guy. That's another thing. Like, if I cared about the journo circle judge, I'd probably I wouldn't be allowed to be friends with him. But then you would be allowed to be friends with like an Arab fighter in the FSA. Like, it's so weird. Like, I don't give a fuck. But yeah, so Callum, have I ever thought about being a combatant? Absolutely not. I've never fired a gun, never shot around myself ever in my life. And I don't want to fight anyone. I don't want to kill anyone. Apart from Roger. I don't want to kill Roger. What happened to the Syrian and Kurdish ISIS fighters? And they've been rehabilitated. They're either dead or in prison. I went to one court place, and they had these ISIS fighters they were interrogating, and they were like, do you want to look? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, have a look. And they were like interrogating them, and they get put in prison. There's some they're trying to de-radicalize. Like, seems like a waste of time if you ask me, but fuck it. The Kurds are probably more merciful than I am. How fucked up is Raqqa still? Absolutely fucked. Absolutely fucked. But it's I can't see any rebuilding, but certainly people are like living, people are really living, and that, like they've come back and stuff. How much info have you shared with security services or police on your return from British Vice? Well, never ever. In fact, the reason I was kind of locked up in Turkey for as long as I was because it was like, oh nah. It was just like, nah, man. Like, they were like, tell us you, and I was like, fuck that. Like, we would agree, like, fuck that. Not, like, it's not worth getting someone fucking killed over just to get out of jail. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. Bro, Roger, do your research, man. If you can find anything, good luck to you. Very good luck to you. Like, if you can find anything of me snitching on anyone ever, good luck. I have a very strong principle with stuff like that, and you go for it, do it. And I'll give you £1,000 if you can find anything of me snitching on people I've worked with. 1,000, go for it. What got you passionate about covering conflict? I got passionate into journalism, and then I just started covering conflict and just thought like, well, no, I looked at like conflict and I thought like, I was doing a few things. I was like, is this really that important? Like, you know, like it's like that's important. Like, kids are dying, people are getting killed. Like, I don't know, man. I just thought like that seems really important, and also it's exciting. You know, when I was out there on the front, I was like, fuck, this is exciting. Like, a lot of people pretend it isn't. Definitely is. That's definitely a draw. You wouldn't go to conflict if you didn't enjoy it to a degree, which is a fucked up thing to say, but it's honest. You know, anyone that tells you otherwise is full of shit. Yeah. I find it really insult the guy who quit Vice hating policies by calling him Vice Boy. Man, I don't give a fuck, man. Roger's a G, man. He's very brave. He quit Vice not out of principle. He did it when he could financially do it. Are you fucking serious, mate? Are you serious? Do you know how broke I was when I left, man? Fuck me. I wish, bro. I sold my A7S, man. I was so broke. I had to pay my fucking rent with selling my A7S. Example of you snitching. How do I collect my 1,000, which we donated to those you set up? Just email it, man. Put it on fucking Twitter. Like, tag me. I'll retweet it, bro. Have you seen Adrian Pine's work? How does a lot of good coverage? She does a lot of, Adrian on Honduras, which is really underreported. That's really good, man. That's a really good point. Honduras, I don't even know what's going on there. I mean, I saw there were like clashes and stuff. What do you think? Put me in touch, man. I definitely want to do a Honduras episode. What do you think of Elizabeth Serkov's recent piece purporting to show heavily anti-Arab sentiment in the SDF? Yeah, it's just typical, man. Like, I had her on the podcast. I thought she was cool, man. But like when I read that, I was like, it's so obvious, just shilling. Like, it's just such bullshit, man. Like, it's like, oh, surprise, you went to Deir ez-Zor and found like anti-Arab sentiment. Like, wow, it's almost as if you were like in a war zone or something. You know, it's certainly not like that throughout the whole thing. I made a thread talking about how much like huge levels of Arab influence there are, and examples of Arab control and trust and that in the SDF. So she does good work now and then, but I just kind of sickened by that piece, and I just thought it's very obvious what's going on. You know, I'm sure she thinks I'm a dickhead, but whatever. Do you have any feeling on what's on the horizon for Northern Ireland or the Union? I don't know, man. Like, my hope, personally, I believe that Ireland should be reunified. But I don't believe it should be a violent way at all. And I think that, like, with Brexit, the idea that reunification via a vote is it seems more possible than it's ever been. But then I think if they voted yes and it was reunified, hell will break out, you know? So I don't know. I don't think it's like, I don't think it's that good. I don't want to see him arrested too by British police. The Syrian authorities need him. We've got an Assadist. I'm just chilling in the East Midlands. So I'm just killing in Cedar Rapids, bro. What equipment did you take when going to Rojava? Man, I had some shit stuff, man. That XA10 camera, which I got cheap. This guy didn't tell me that there was like a blur spot on the lens, the bastard. So like, you'll see the footage as like a little blur spot. I don't know the real word for it, whatever technical term. So that was okay. 26 plus 6 equals 1. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, and then I brought my Olympus with OMD5, which I've got. John Beck told me about it. This sick photographer, a friend of mine, John Beck. He used that for a while. I think Moise Saman, who like unfollowed me on Twitter. I really like his work, but I guess he doesn't like my gobshite. But yeah, he will use that for a while, and it's like it looks like a film camera, but it's good. You know, excuse me, it's good. I should learn how to use it properly, though. I used it on auto a lot because I'm an idiot. Okay, Adrian behind Twitter. Let me try it doesn't link in here. But, I'm not satisfied. I support principle of law. Bootlicker. Adrian behind Roger, mate. Fuck off. It's really annoying now. Like, whatever, man. Do what you feel, mate. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do, like, mate. Like, it's just not happening. So should I go for 30 more minutes? 78 people still watching. Like, probably half of them my mates, like, fucking screen capping it to my meal. Or my mum or something. Hang on. Put the windows down. I'm not fucking oh, I feel really ill, man. Like, my throat is fucked. I feel like I can't speak properly, man. It's hurting. Getting on well. Are the Idlib weapons trade Telegram groups still up? I don't know, mate. I was in a few for a while and I got bored of them. Ask Calibre Obscura, twitter.com/Calibre, spelt the correct way. Calibre Obscura. I'm sure you can spell that. Really good lad, really good work. Check him out 100%. He's annoying, but very good. Like me. Why do blue checkmark Twitter accounts have loads of followers despite talking shit? I don't know, man. I've got a fair amount of followers and I'm a blue check dickhead who talk shit. I am not a sadist or Roger, mate. Fucking hell, get out of here, man. David Katz, thanks, man. Stop engaging him. Okay, whatever. He's I don't know, whatever. People can say what they want, man. It's okay. I know, it's kind of funny. Like, think how much time he just wasted doing that, you know. Adrian Pine, militant anthropologist against neoliberal fascism. That sounds a bit mental, mate. Are you sure she's the one to talk to about Honduras? That sounds a bit bonkers, to be honest. I mean, I know I'm one to talk. I talk about neoliberal this and fuck fascist that and blah blah, but that sounds a bit much. And she's got a queue, loads of queues in her head, mate. It's not looking good. Roger, come fight me in real life. You've got a new subscriber. How does one go about supporting your work in journalism? If you got money, and I always say this, man, I get people messaging me saying, Jake, I'm skin, I'm going to support, like, sorry, I'm not. If you're broke, do not fucking put your hands in your pockets for Popular Front. If you can afford it, cool. If you can't, fucking don't. There are many ways to support. Share it. Just share Popular Front podcast, Popular Front doc, subscribe to the YouTube. If you're broke, do not fucking send us any money. Do not do that. Absolutely not. Like, I know, like, I've had people message me like, oh, you know, like, I've lost my job, but I'm going to keep my subscription. I'm like, fuck that, man. Like, I love the support. Without it, it will be fucked. But if you're broke, mate, honestly, I've been there. Trust me, don't. The bigotry against the letter Q must go. Mate, I watched this QAnon guy, Craig Mason. I actually followed him on Twitter and like, he messaged me. And I had to tell him, like, bro, like, I don't believe in any of this QAnon bullshit. I just find you interesting for some reason. I like watching your shit, like. And he was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." It's like, that probably makes me like cancelled to some American. Any people that inspired you to get into journalism? Yes, Evan Wright, amazing journalist, my favorite journalist of all time. Seb, fucking hell, I nearly said Seb Walker. Nah, he hates me. Sebastian Junger, amazing. Read his books. Was like, mate, this is the way. Believe it or not, and I know there's like a lot of controversy around him. He seems like he's a bit of a fucking creep and a bit of an asshole at times, but I don't know. I read a few things. Matt Taibbi, I read an article by Matt Taibbi about when he went to New Orleans after the flood, like right after, and he went with like Sean Penn. I remember reading it, this really long piece, and just reading it and being like, fuck me. Like, the writer, I think he's an incredible writer, the way he writes. Pardon me, but I remember thinking like, I want to do that. Not fucking with Sean Penn, like, but like that was like kind of a weird part of the story, but I think it's how we got in there. But the things they were doing and the reporting from the ground, I remember thinking like, man, like, if you don't go, you don't know. Like, that thing, like, I've saw someone say that, and I think like after reading that, I got it. Like, fuck, man, like, you have to do this ground reporting to really get a proper handle on a certain situation. And after reading that New Orleans article for Rolling Stone, I was like, mate, I want to do that. Who else? Let me look at the bookshelf. Man, all my favourite journalists I can't think of. Don McCullin, like, I think, you know, obviously he's, the way he did things can't happen anymore, but he's excellent. George Orwell, I've read all of Orwell's work. I think Orwell's amazing. I think he's really, really good. His morals and his kind of, you know, he's in the right place. In Before Tankies are like, he grasped up to the British government, like, read about it. He basically like didn't want some Stalinists fucking up England, as far as I remember. But if he did do that, fuck him for being a snitch. I don't know. But still, sick work. Who else, man? A lot of anti-fascist groups that I was like involved in as a youth or like teenager. Not like involved, but like online, I would like read up on it. You know, like, my family are very like anti kind of fascist, anti-authoritarian. Like, you know, it's just a thing. So I kind of grew up listening to that. And then, like, as the internet age came, I was very much involved in like kind of the investigating side of some stuff. Like, actually, I wasn't very much involved. That's bullshit. I was like just like skulking on like IRC chats and that of like people that were like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It wasn't like it is now. It wasn't like they were trying to dox anyone. It was just like building profiles of like, this guy is doing this guy is doing that. And it wasn't necessarily Nazism, or even like trying to stop them. It was like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It was just like, we would be like, oh, you know, we'd like raid their forums and shit, like just like really amateur, dumb, childish stuff. But that like made me think that like, made me realize how like research is really important and interesting and stuff like that. And yeah, that definitely drove me. But I don't know. So many reporters, man. Fuck, I'm not even thinking. Loads of really good journalists, man. I don't know. I'm tired and I'm unwell. You know, I don't fucking know. If you're broke, don't send money. Worst cult leader ever. Man, I'd be such a shit cult leader, man. Like, fucking hell. I was moaning. Do you plan on doing any more podcasts in 3D printed gun community? Probably not, man. Probably not. You know, I interviewed Ivan the Troll for a bonus episode. That's on patreon.com/popularfront, $5 a month. Buckle, you can support us. But yeah, you can listen to that on a bonus episode. And also I interviewed Cody Wilson, you know, earlier on. A lot of people were like, you shouldn't have done that. Fucking like, whatever. Obviously you become, you know, fucking horrible situation that he's in. But yeah, well, that he fucking scumbag put himself there. But yeah, man. Probably not. Like, I don't know, unless they do something like crazy. Like, to be honest, the 3D printed gun thing is like, the danger of it is bullshit. Like, it's not that dangerous. They're mostly hobbyists. A lot of them are like fucking weird, but they're not particularly like fascist from what I can tell, which a lot of people accuse him of being. Like, a lot of them are like hardcore libertarians. I think Ivan the Troll, the idea that he would be a fascist is kind of crazy. He seems like the opposite. I mean, he's not an anarchist, but he almost is in a way. I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm probably not that interested in doing any more on them, unless they make like a fucking cannon or something. I don't fucking know. Ivan's doing a lot of interviews for Deterrence Dispensed, apparently. Yeah, I mean, he fell off Twitter. Like, they blocked him, like banned him again. Like, whatever. I heard you mention the situationists. Yeah, I said situationalists as well because I'm a fucking moron. I heard you mention the situationists earlier. Any people like that who have influenced your work? Yeah, but I don't want to get too political. I think like the anti-authoritarian and like kind of vibe that I've allowed myself to adopt more in my work since I started Popular Front has been a big drive for me, and I think people like that. Like, I think people like, it's not political, but I think that's just a good base. I think I wouldn't class myself as any ism or schism, like, but my political reading, I guess I read a lot of anarchist literature, and I just find it, I don't agree with a lot of it, but I find a lot of it very interesting. Like Guy Debord, I read a lot of him, and I don't like Marxism, and I'm certainly not into communism, but I think he was fucking great. And I think it's some, the way he wrote was just absurd and stupid, like just so like over the top. But I think the situationists were cool. There's a great film, like a documentary called Call It Sleep. That's why my Proton. Someone was, why is your Proton? My Proton email is Call It Sleep at protonmail.com. I don't know why. I must have made it that a while ago. But that's a really good kind of situationist film that's just kind of, it kind of critiques this hyper-capitalist kind of world, but also critiques like Stalinist communism, which I think is important to realize that like authoritarianism is everywhere. It's not just, oh, I'm anti-imperialist, therefore everything someone does in my group is okay. Like, fuck that. That's when you get like Ben Norton, like dickheads like them. Can you interview Sean Penn whilst he method acts as an eco-nihilist group leader? Is he going to do that? I'd love him to do that. But if I had money, I would make the sickest Hollywood, not even Hollywood, I'd make like the sickest fiction films about like militant groups, like I really would. I say they'd be sick, they'd probably be fucking awful, but like I would like to try. I'd get like Low Res Wonderbread to make it for me or some shit, like G's like that, but yeah. Jenkins, go on Popular Front to talk about what? Trolling, militant trolling. You was trying to get yourself banned and you couldn't even do that, man. God, eco-fash is so cringe. They single-handedly ruined Flecktarn. I know, mate. I saw this really nice Flecktarn. Was it CP Company? Or was it Stone Island, I think CP Company coat. I mean, I couldn't fucking afford it. Obviously, it's like no one could. It's like £2,000. But I just thought, mate, that's so sick. But you can't even wear it now because you look like a fucking siege pill freak. Any articles coming up on the PF website, man? I need to fucking sort the articles out, man. I really need to. There's like what 12, if that, like 8. I don't fucking know. If I'm gonna do an Indiegogo starter campaign soon, and if it goes well, Indiegogo fundraising campaign. If it goes well, I will definitely take some of it and give it to someone and go, get me a load of articles, commission them, edit them, you know, and fucking we need to get the articles moving. I just can't fucking do it, man. I don't have the time, and I used to be a sub editor, and it's the most boring job on earth. I fucking hate it, so I find it really hard to do. Oh, my fucking neck's fucked, man. So weird. There's like 63 people watching. That's fucking cool, man. I sent a literal bomb threat and haven't been banned. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe you're just so cool. You can't be banned because you're just so cool. Simeon. That's a cool name. Simeon Lancaster. What's an underreported or forgotten conflict you would love to report on but lack resources to do? Mate, that is a fucking great question. So, a part of my Indiegogo campaign will be, so I'm going to try and raise 10 grand. I don't think we'll raise 10 grand. I'm going to say 5 to 10. If we can raise 5, cool. Mainly it's for equipment. So to do better stuff and to make things more efficient, it's for equipment, because all my equipment is like, everything I own is like kind of fucks because I've got it secondhand, or, you know, I've got the cheapest version. Which, sorry, I'm always going about money, man, but like, fuck me, it's hard doing this independently. Like, it's a fucking nightmare. I'm paying rent and cars, you know, pay big fucking car and all that shit. Anyway, so the idea is I'm going to buy it. I want just like a bit of money to go like, right, you know, equipment, and pay for the server costs for like the rest of the year for like the podcast and stuff like that. So I want to get equipment, pay people. So like, got a lot of graphics people volunteering, got a few people here and there volunteering with stuff. I want to pay like, you know, and they're very happy to volunteer, but I want to say, here's a bit of money, man. Thank you very much. And please do more, like do more of this. I think that would be really nice to do. And also want to kind of bring in more, I don't want to say underprivileged, but more like unknown, perhaps, journalists and researchers that I'm watching that I think are fucking sick. Someone just messaged me on the Discord asking me if the live chat that I'm on is me. Mate, yes. What? Of course. I mean, I know I look a bit different because my hair's getting long, but fucking hell. Mental. Absolutely mental. That is the maddest thing I've ever seen. I'm blown away. I don't know if you're winding me up or what. I'm not taking a piss, whatever. Jake, fix your hair. I know, mate. Fucking, I've been doing it the whole time. I look like a knobhead. You're going to grow your hair out long? Yeah, man, I'm going to grow my hair today. I just can't be fucked anymore. I shaved my head before I went Lebanon and I look like a fucking Nazi. So now I just figured the other option is to like, get it. I grew it long when I was like 12 and it got all curly. Like it was all right. Like I'll see what it looks like. If it looks shit, I'll just fucking go back to this. But just can't be arsed anymore. Like, you know, I'm like doing it. If it's long, you can just go, and off you go. What was I saying? Indiegogo. Sorry, fucking hell. So Indiegogo campaign. So if I get the money to like pay the equipment and pay a few volunteers and stuff like that, and get paid for, I want to pay for like to get some more stuff done. I want to do like a little zine, a little Popular Front zine, which I wanted to do ages ago, and I realized how expensive it is to get that shit printed and put together. Yeah. So after that, if say somehow, I don't fucking know, say somehow the Indiegogo hits like 30,000, say like some rich guys just like boom, have some money like that, be sick. If that happens, I will make a series. Now I've already written a series. I had a name for it, but I'm not sure. But the subtitle is The Wars You Won't See in the News. So it was called Zero Line, The Wars You Won't See in the News. Now originally this was going to be a book. I was this close to getting a deal with Penguin to write this book. It came to the money. It came to the very last hurdle. Everyone said yes, and then the money guys basically said like, this isn't going to make us money, and they decided the concept wasn't strong enough and fucked it off. Like after 3 years of working on this whole pitch, fucking nightmare. But this guy Henry Vines at Penguin, really good guy, like fucking really helped me with the idea. So now I figure like this will be a good series. So and then Popular Front happened, and I was like, you know what, I tried to take it to Netflix. Netflix won't even talk to you if you don't have an agent. I refuse to have an agent. I will never have an agent. I don't think anyone would want to be my fucking agent. What's this shit? So they refused. Netflix refused to even look at it. And what am I saying? So anyway, so Popular Front happened. I figured that if I can get money, I can go and make this series. You know, God, I'm chatting shit in it. Fixers usually paid, yeah, man. Of course, they make so much money. Rich Jake is the real Jake. Say something only the real Jake would say. I don't get it. Is someone else doing this? Huh? Would I consider moving to a country with a cheaper cost of living? Nah, mate. I really like where I live, and also I've got like commitments here. You know, can't move. I like England. I think it's alright. When I'm older, maybe in like 10 years, maybe. If I'm still doing this in 10 years, fuck knows, I don't know. Mate, what's going on here? Something insane is about to happen in Shenzhen. Oh my god. Oh dear. There's like a load of what look like kind of Ural trucks, like military trucks. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's bad. Which Jake is the ruler? What's going on? Is anyone else still here? Should I fuck this off or what? Come to France. I've been to France a few times. I filmed there. There's like a second almanac. Popular Front thing we did in France. Oh dear, some shit's happening in Hong Kong, man. About the underprivileged, unknown journalists, why not use Popular Front as a platform for those? It could be known for that as part of its grassroots journalism. I mean, I think we're doing that already, Ollie, to be honest. Like, you know, like I don't know who would be considered the Popular Front team, but certainly Aram Shabanian is a part of that team, you know. He was there from the very start, like the very fucking start, helped me with shit without even asking for money, like just helping me with stuff, like just there, like G'ing me on, like this is a good idea, like, and even when I was like, oh, I don't know, man, like me and him were the first people in the Discord. So like Aram would certainly be like a guy that's a member, you know, and Aram is, you know, this mad kind of fucking lunatic, you know, Armenian American guy who is just like research, just incredible. Like the things he's into, he's the biggest fucking nerd. I love him, like so good with stuff like that. So like Aram is, and I'm always trying to boost him. Like me and him have done work together on stuff, and he's helped with Popular Front. And you know, I think he's someone that I'm help. You know, that is part of it. There's a few photographers at the minute that I'm going to work with that have contacted me, like random like guys in the UK that just want to do stuff, and you know, Luke Pierce, who you know in Ukraine. I would say that he's relatively unknown in terms of the whole journo circuit, and you know, work with him. Connell Kieni, very green when I first started working with him. Always been, you know, I've known Connell for fucking years, man. Always been pushing him. So I think that's there already. Like Popular Front is definitely trying to like be a place to launch, or at least like push other people like that are unknown or lesser known. Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's I think that's what we're doing, you know. Like certainly, and like if anyone I say to people like Calibre Obscure as well, like I was one of the first people to push his stuff. I think, you know, we had him on the podcast when he was Everest 65 or 69 or whatever he was. Yeah, man. So I do think, and like you know, a lot of people that are relatively unknown. Like I remember there was I was having a conversation with Danny Gold, who's a good friend of mine, great journalist, and he was saying like, get this person on, they've got a big following, and you know, which was a good idea. But I was like, nah, Danny, man, like it can't be about that. It's got to be about, are they worth being on? Like, it doesn't matter if they've got a huge following. Like, I don't know. Like, fucking, we've had loads of people on that barely no one knows about. You know, like we did the Eco Terror website, Eco Terror episode with John Jacoby, who didn't even have a Twitter account at the time. You know, so it's not really about that. It's about, you know, whatever. I don't know. There's people that I've had on that I've been like convinced to have on that were like really good, but at the start I was like, oh, I don't know, and then being like, oh fuck yeah, great. So yeah, I don't know, swings and roundabouts. Arrested protesters are being taken to a detention centre near the border where they are at threat of disappearing. Oh, fuck. Jenkins was the best guest. Give him a shout out. Oh yeah, McKeever as well. Like, I certainly consider McKeever like a part of the team, even though he's a fucking asshole. Yeah, Hong Kong man. Gap Rain Milon Usk. Yes, Hong Kong. So yeah, like that's a good question, Alan. Do I know anything about how fighters with PTSD are treated in the SDF? I actually spoke to someone about this while out there, and they were saying that like only now are they starting to like even accept that PTSD is like a thing, which is fucked, you know. And they're certainly trying. There are people that will get pulled out of the unit to go for R&R, but certainly they're not dealing with it very well. But how can you know, limited resources? But there's definitely a culture change needs to happen in terms of that. You know, like young men, the idea of any of them getting kind of even women as well. Like the person I speak to was a woman was telling me like she got therapy, and even she before she did it was like absolutely not. And she's covered some of the most gnarly fucking frontline stuff I've ever seen, and seen just awful stuff. You know, and it's had family members killed as well in the war. And it's just like she was like the idea that I would need surgery, like no, I would need therapy, like absolutely not. Yes, and they were just like, oh man, this Hong Kong stuff is blowing up. Yeah, mate. And just what was I saying? Yeah, they're starting to deal with it now, and excuse me, throat swapped, and they're starting to be like, oh, yeah, I don't know. It's only now they realise that PTSD is real. Oh, fucking, I can't imagine how it is. Okay, I guess that's it, lads. What do you reckon? Should probably fuck it off. Oh man, that is bad, man. Where's the live stream? Right, Jenkins was the best. Sorry, left this. Come to the Discord, read all of it. I'm not reading all of it. Al Hole, off to the Uyghur camps. What? Thanks for going live. Cool, yeah, I reckon it's fucking done, isn't it, really? Like, it's like you don't want to overdo it. People just fucking want nearly 2 hours. Cheers, lads. Thank you very much. Biggest concern for our whole, let me just answer that. Biggest concern for our whole is the NGO workers allowing the ISIS brides to have internet, which is like they're allowing them to connect to their fast link, which is fucking insane because it's proven that they've been organising via Telegram. Where's the dog? Murphy. Where's the fucking dog? Hang on. Murphy. Oh, you're asleep. Sorry, mate. You're asleep on the floor. And they're kind of the SDF are getting no fucking help in Al-Hol as far as I'm aware. Like it just looks fucking terrible. It looks really bad. It's a powder keg waiting to happen. They've stabbed 3 guards. They tried to pour petrol on one of the guards and tried to set her on fire. Like it's so bad, man. The Discord has become like Al-Hol. The Discord is Al-Hol now, man. We should call it that. Free Murphy. Fuck you, he's not in prison. Man, I won't even put him in a cage. People are like, get a crate for when you go out. Like, fuck that, I don't put my dog in a crate. Don't even want to put him on a lead. But I will. Take care of yourself, big man. Hopefully you come back in Belfast. Mate, I'd love to come back to Belfast. I love Belfast. What's up? Right, I'm gonna go. Dog needs a shit. Later.